The Caitlin Clark injury situation is officially a mess because not only is there not more clarity, there's more confusion about what her timeline could be. And that's coming on the heels of it seeming to be pretty clear when Clark would return to the court, or about when she would return to the court. It was said on the ESPN broadcast on August 12th that Stephanie White hoped Clark would be back in practice this week. Open portion of practice, Clark is not seen. And Stephanie White afterwards said it's status quo until Clark is back at practice.
It seems Stephanie White and the Indiana Fever front office may have pulled off one of the sloppiest cover-ups in WNBA history, openly lying about Caitlin Clark's injury and hoping no one would catch on. Spoiler: fans definitely caught on. They've brought receipts, timelines, and video evidence that punch holes through the official narrative. What was framed as a routine workout mishap now reeks of calculated deception. And when you start misleading the very fans who buy tickets, tune in, and invest in merchandise, you're not just spinning a bad PR story, you could be inviting a serious investigation into deceptive consumer practices.
It's getting crazy, it's getting spooky real fast. Very, very fast. I told y'all, people have had enough. All of y'all in the Indiana Fever organization who have been lying about this girl injury, not being transparent, and all these things that the fans are feeling, the fans are speaking back. They do not appreciate it. They feel scammed, they feel lied to, and they feel used.
This isn't a minor PR misstep, it's a full-blown credibility meltdown. Stephanie White went on live TV, smiled for the cameras, and delivered a polished script about Caitlin Clark's injury timeline. The problem: the dates don't add up. And when your timeline starts falling apart, fans won't let it slide. It's 2025, receipts don't disappear, and people aren't nodding along blindly anymore. So the real question is, do you still trust the Fever when it comes to injury reports? Sound off in the comments below.
Urge DOJ and FTC to investigate WNBA's misleading practices. Wow. So we are here now. And what's crazy about all of this is that, guys, this is I'm not going to come on here and say that they're going to lose, because if there was an investigation going into this team, they're not going to lose this investigation. Oh, they're going to win. Whoever is representing Caitlin is going to win.
Let's rewind. Caitlin Clark suffered a groin injury in mid-July after taking a reckless knee from JCS Sheldon. At the time, it was labeled a day-to-day issue, with talk of ramping up practices and a hopeful return by late August. Seemed straightforward until things got murky. As that return date approached, suddenly, out of nowhere, a new injury emerged. The official story: Clark allegedly got hurt during a workout on August 7th. Convenient, clean, PR-friendly. There's just one problem: fans have footage from that very day showing Clark casually walking through Phoenix, looking smooth, relaxed, and anything but injured. Something doesn't add up, and it's starting to smell fishy.
What changed? Right? I know there's never been a direct timeline, but all the signs seem to point in the direction of Clark returning soon. Even Natasha Howard saying, "See you soon, CC." Now it's like, wait and see. And there's further information coming out that Clark suffered a bit of an ankle injury in the midst of her recovery process. Did that hinder her return? One reporter saying yes, another reporter is saying no. Bottom line is, we need to know a little bit more. We don't need Caitlin Clark's in-depth medical report, but it's fair for fans to wonder if the Fever and the league's biggest star is going to return to the floor this season, or what the chances are. And she's been out of action for 5 weeks, so it's not as if some patience hasn't been expressed.
Instead of acknowledging the timeline didn't add up, Stephanie White and the Fever's PR team doubled down, and that's when the situation went from embarrassing to downright insulting. Reporters covering the team, who should have been focused on facts, went on air chuckling through Caitlin Clark's so-called unlucky injury story. Not nervous laughter, genuine amusement, as if the sidelining of the league's biggest star was some kind of joke. Let that sink in. The face of women's basketball gets injured, ratings nosedive, and the media treats it like a comedy sketch. Fans weren't just confused, they were livid.
Indiana Fever's got $1 billion entity on their team. $1 billion damn dollars. And they're a bunch of clowns, a bunch of bozos. You guys look completely incompetent and unprofessional. The way this has been handled, Oh, it's a joke. It's a joke. Look, and look, they can't say anything about conspiracy theories. You're complicit in creating them because you won't be open and you won't be honest.
This is why the Fever's credibility is in absolute free fall. Spinning a narrative is one thing, teams do it all the time. But flat out lying to your own fan base and smiling through it, that's not just dishonest, it's downright disrespectful. It's the franchise basically saying, we think you're gullible enough to believe this. Newsflash: fans aren't dumb. And social media receipts don't expire. People are connecting the dots in real time, and the deeper they dig, the worse it looks.
You got this video right here that a lot of you have already seen. I just saw it in the last couple of days of Caitlin getting stepped on by a coach right there on the left.
Stepped on by the coach, and I think she's going to be all right based upon the grin on her face. But
the left foot, the one that's got the issue, she got stepped on. And today, I'm not even going to say Indiana Fever fans, Caitlin Clark fans are crashing out at a different level. And I don't blame them.
And here's the kicker: they're trying to bury the real incident. Fans haven't forgotten that infamous game when assistant coach Brian January literally stepped on Caitlin Clark's foot. That moment didn't disappear, it just got swept under the rug, buried beneath this tidy little workout injury narrative. So which is it? Did Caitlin suffer a freak accident in a private gym? Or was she actually hurt by a member of the very staff meant to protect her? Because if it's the latter, this isn't bad luck, it's negligence. And negligence, when paired with misleading public statements, isn't just a PR problem. It's the kind of issue that attracts real scrutiny from the league, from sponsors, and from watchdogs who don't tolerate consumer deception. Meanwhile, Clark is stuck in the middle, trapped in the Fever's spin cycle. Every time she speaks on her recovery, it's the same robotic script. Working hard, feeling good, just unlucky. But fans know Clark, that's not her voice. That's a PR line, carefully crafted to plug holes and prevent ticket refunds. The timing is too convenient. The messaging is too polished. And the authenticity, nowhere to be found.
This practice isn't just disappointing, it's deceptive. Fans invested their hard-earned money in tickets, streaming packages, and merchandise under the belief that they were being given honest information. Instead, it appears coordinated efforts were made between the league and team communications to present a facade of hopeful updates, masking the true status of a beloved player's injury.
And here's the part fans can't ignore. Caitlin Clark isn't a rookie anymore. She's in year 12 league's most valuable asset van. She's earned every bit of that spotlight by selling out arenas from coast to coast. Yet the Fever are treating her like a disposable pawn, casually shuffled around under a web of lies. If this were the NBA, if a coach injured LeBron James or Steph Curry and then lied about it, there'd be investigations, firings, and wall-to-wall ESPN coverage. But in the WNBA, silence. Just a few reporters smirking on air like unpaid interns parroting the team's script. The Fever's credibility isn't just damaged, it's shredded. And at the center of the storm is Stephanie White. This isn't just a case of bad optics. It might actually cross into something more serious: fraud. Promoting games, selling tickets, and hyping broadcasts around Clark while allegedly misleading the public about her health isn't just unethical, it's deceptive consumer practice. That's the kind of offense that brings lawyers to the table, sends sponsors into crisis mode, and opens doors to investigations the Fever absolutely cannot afford.
Goes on to say fans felt excited when they purchased tickets, believing they'll watch Caitlin Clark shine on the court. However, that excitement turned to disappointment as misleading injuries kept fueling false hopes that she had played the WNBA. And hold up, damn, is they finna get a for line? Is they finna get a for line to the fans? Oh my God. Hold up, the WNBA and Indiana Fever fans, Indiana Fever have repeatedly engaged in what seems to be a strategic ploy to drive ticket sale and merchandise sales by suggesting that Caitlin Clark return was on the horizon. Holy-ish right now, bro. Oh my God, it's about to get red.
And here's the spiciest theory gaining traction. Maybe this wasn't just incompetence, maybe it was intentional. Think about it. Clark entered the league like a tidal wave, breaking records and drawing in fans who'd never watched a WNBA game. Almost immediately, the narrative began to shift. She's too skinny. She needs to bulk up. She's not ready for the physicality. So what happened next? She was pushed into rapid muscle gain. Her body broke down under the pressure, and now her second year is clouded by a string of injuries. That's not coincidence. That's mismanagement, and when you follow the trail of decisions, every arrow points straight back to Stephanie White and her staff.
I feel like they were lying about her injury. As far as like the severity of it, I think it's a really bad injury. I think when they rushed her back that one time, I think she hurt it even more and it pushed the timeline back.
Trying to come back and come back quickly. She needs to make sure that she's 100%. Her competitor wants to play. We're prioritizing her long-term health and wellness is the most important thing.
As bad as it might sound, I think it might be like a season-ending level type of injury, and they're hoping to get in the playoffs and they can somehow get her during the playoffs.
NS are already calling for Caitlin Clark to ditch the Fever's medical staff and return to the Iowa doctors she actually trusts, and honestly, who could blame them? If the front office is lying about when she got hurt, what else are they hiding? Are they downplaying the severity? Are they planning to rush her back early just to boost ticket sales? These aren't wild conspiracy theories, they're reasonable questions in the face of a franchise that refuses to give straight answers. The silence is deafening and it screams cover up. Stephanie White really thought she could walk up to the podium, flash a smile, and spin the workout injury narrative like fans were clueless. But the more she repeats it, the more cracks appear. And every time she doubles down, she doesn't just lose credibility, she drags the entire organization deeper into scandal. Instead of protecting Caitlin Clark, White has made her the face of what could become a full-blown investigation.
The craziest thing about this last groin injury with Caitlin Clark is how it's been covered. The day after she had the groin injury, she was listed as day-to-day. And then a couple weeks after that, then she was listed to being out indefinitely. Now, ESPN had August 12th as the circled return date for Caitlin Clark to get back onto the court. And just yesterday, she was listed as a game time decision for today's game against the Dallas Wings. And then after practice yesterday, Coach Stephanie White basically came out and said, like, no, Caitlin Clark hasn't even been practicing. So they changed it from a game time decision to her being.
And Fever fans, they're done. They've watched Clark take brutal fouls, absorb elbows, get overlooked by refs, and now they're watching her be mishandled by her own team. Imagine being the most hyped women's basketball player in decades, selling out arenas, shattering TV records, and your reward is being lied about when you're injured. That's not just mismanagement. That's malpractice. And if the Fever keep this up, they won't just regret it, they'll face investigations. Here's why this scandal goes far beyond Indiana. Caitlin Clark isn't just another player, she is the WNBA right now. She's the engine driving ticket sales, ratings, sponsorships, and even mainstream media buzz. Her presence sells out arenas coast to coast. Her highlights dominate national broadcasts. Her name keeps corporations writing checks. Take Clark out of the equation, and the ripple effects are immediate. Attendance tanks, ratings collapse, sponsors start looking for the exit. That's why Stephanie White's attempted cover-up isn't just bad PR, it edges dangerously close to consumer fraud. Think about it. If fans are buying tickets expecting Clark to play when the Fever already knows she won't, that's false advertising, not speculation. This is exactly the kind of deceptive practice that triggers